Katie, we can't hear you, babe.
Whoops. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and get recording. Good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining us. Happy Labor Day. I hope you guys all had an amazing weekend. If you don't know who I am, my name is Katie Harold, and I have been with this business for 6 years, over 6 years now, and I'm a Presidential Diamond, and I'm really, really excited. This is our weekly leadership call, so I want you to drop in the chat if this is your first leadership call, or if you are checking in weekly, if you are part of our leadership chat. Let us know in the comments. I would love to see, because I know that we opened this up for special invites only of people on our team where we thought, you know, you needed to hear it, or this would be something really great for you. I know I personally invited a lot of ladies on my team that I just really felt deserved this leadership lovin'. And I'm really, really excited. First one. And I see a lot of our leadership team on. So hey, everybody. Everyone say some prayers for Florida and the East Coast. Everybody down there. Corporate, Sarah, Jess. Big incoming they have. So say some prayers, please. So I have something really exciting tonight. Make sure you have a notebook and a pen. And so what we're going to do is we're going to watch a video. And so if you are on my team, you kind of heard me talking a little bit about what we're going to go into but I'm really excited that I learned about this. And it's funny because every so often, Sarah, and especially when we're like working through a time in our business, Sarah will send me some videos in the morning. She'll send me like one video in the morning, maybe something that she listened to. And I try to get to them right away. And sometimes I don't get a chance to, I have to go back. And she sent me this one, and I was like, this is gold. We must talk about this with leadership. And I just really felt like it was kind of more than leadership, but I just wanted to make this super special, which is why we had invite only. So I'm sure you guys maybe you haven't heard of Ed Mylett. He is so awesome for personal development. And something that I love about him is, you know, he is spiritual. So in his videos, I like that he does, you know, say God, because I know for me, like sometimes I'm like, okay, you know, we talk about the universe and I believe in energies and all the things, but like the way he talks is so direct and to the point, and honestly, I think speaks right to me. And I know that we did a call back with Morgan Martin a couple months ago, and she said that she's really been diving into him. So this is what we're going to do. So I just want you guys to stick with me because it is so good. We're going to watch a video from him. So we're going to act like he is on our Zoom tonight, okay? So we can feel free to continue to comment and say any aha moments that you're having in the chat. And so I'm going to go ahead and do a screen share, and we're going to watch a video from him. And you guys will have to let me know like if you can hear him okay. And then afterwards, I'm going to ask a series of questions, and we're going to kind of do a little bit of an exercise and answer some of the questions that he talks about. And so I think it'll really move us into the next level. So are you guys excited? Because I'm really, really excited about this. So, all right, I'm going to go ahead and share my screen.
I love this video. I'm so excited you're sharing it, Katie. I want to tell everybody, if in the beginning he uses the word busy a lot, don't take on the negative context of like busier, because I know in the beginning I was like, I don't want to be busier. I don't want to be busier. And I was fighting this message. And I told Katie that when I sent it to her, I said, just make it through him telling you to be busier. The meat and potatoes past it. I was like, and Katie's texting me emojis, all a little mind blow.
There, this is actually the other one. This is the one about the temperature.
Oh, yay. Okay. Yeah. I know it. Yep.
And I honestly think that so many of his videos we can relate to a leadership call, you guys. So I don't know. I just really thought that it would be really cool if we just acted like he was on our leadership Zoom right now. Okay. So you guys can talk in the chat. I won't be able to see it, but Sarah will, and the other leaders will be able to see your comments in the chat. So feel free to share your excitement, your ideas, your aha moments for those of you that this is your first leadership call. And so the video is about 20 minutes. And so if you want to, I'm gonna encourage you to do this. You don't have to watch him. If you are in like a quiet place where you can either close your eyes or just kind of, you know, sit there and stare at a wall. For me, I was cooking while I was doing it, so I wasn't actually looking at him. And I felt like I got the message like loud and clear, because I couldn't see his hand gestures or anything. I couldn't see any of the words that they put on the screen. So either way, whether you look at him while he's talking or you don't look, that's fine. And you can even close your eyes and kind of just be in your own world for this. So I'm pumped. And so if you guys could give me a heads up, I'm going to start playing it. Give me like a thumbs up if you can hear.
I'm constantly obsessed with writing the next chapter of my life, not reading the previous ones. The happiest and most fulfilled people don't read the past chapters of their life. Here's the truth. Nobody cares. No one cares if you had a failure. No one cares if you've had a setback. No one cares if you had a victory. And that old character you keep playing is the very thing that will prevent you from becoming this new version of you. You're repeating this story to yourself, simultaneously trying to create a new identity. You can't take that old story into the new identity. Welcome back to Max Out, everybody. I'm Ed Mylett, and today I'm extremely excited to share these thoughts with you, because I think what we're going to cover today may be the single most important thing that will lead to you reaching the ultimate version of yourself, your optimal results, your max out level of play, or not ever getting there. And so it's that important to me. You know, people ask me often, what were some of the decisions and choices and areas I focused on that made the biggest difference for me in my life? And today's topic is the thing that I would probably give you the gift of first, and that is the power of your identity. See, I believe the most powerful force in the world is to be consistent with the thoughts, ideas, concepts, and beliefs you hold to be true about yourself. And that is what identity is. Identity is the governor on every single area of your life. It literally sets the temperature for all of the conditions of your life. Shakespeare has this incredible quote that says, "We know what we are, but not what we may be." And the who you may be is going to be dictated by your ability to alter your identity, because you are going to always be consistent with what you believe you're worth and what you believe you deserve, or what is your identity. Your identity, the best analogy I could give you, is like a thermostat sitting on the wall of your life. It sets the entire temperature for the conditions of your life in multiple areas. And so most people think their life is dictated by external circumstances. They spend their entire life trying to control what is outside of them. You've all heard the great saying that people in 12-step programs talk about learning to control the things they can and letting go of the things that they can't control. And the fact of the matter is, you cannot always control the external factors that are impacting you in your life. The good news is, it's the external things in your life that do not dictate the direction or the ultimate destination of your life. That is a fallacy. Listen to me when I tell you this. External circumstances do not dictate the ultimate destination of your life. It's an internal game. You and your faith, your God, are what will control the direction of your life, not the external things that are impacting you all the time. And this identity is that internal thermostat. It sets the temperature, just like a thermostat sitting on the wall, of the conditions of your entire life. Let me give you an example of how the thermostat of our lives works. The best analogy I could give you is exactly how one works in the room I'm sitting in. It sets the temperature of the room. And so the external conditions don't impact the internal temperature of this room, because that thermostat regulates the condition of the room. So if we open the door and the windows in this room and cold air blew in here, the thermostat would kick on, wouldn't it, and heat the room back up to 75 degrees. So no matter what hit it, it regulates the temperature of the room. The reverse is also true. If a bunch of hot air blew in the room, if we open the doors and the windows, the thermostat would cool the room back down and regulate it to 75 degrees. Guess what? That's exactly how your life works. Once you accept this truth, it is a fact that it's not the external things that are happening, it's the internal thermostat. Too often in life, people don't work on changing their identity. They're always working on producing external results. Have you ever known somebody who was wealthy and no longer is? Have you ever known somebody who made a bunch of money and no longer does? How about somebody who was in a great relationship and that relationship no longer exists? How about someone who got in great shape that is no longer in that shape again? If your results begin to exceed your internal thermostat, you will find a way to cool your life back down to what you believe you're worth and you're comfortable with your identity. You'll think it's coincidental. Oh, this accident happened, or this appointment canceled, or this circumstance took place. It's not coincidence. All of those things have happened because you set the thermostat of your life and you've regulated what you're going to get. Isn't that incredible? That you can learn all the talents, the behaviors, the skills, the tactics, all the strategies that I teach you. But if you don't alter that thermostat internally, you could have all of the skills of a 100-degree producer, and you will live a 75-degree existence because you will turn the air conditioner of your life on back down to cool it where you're comfortable. It's also true, by the way, you've seen this in your own life. Maybe you've had something really good going in business before. You've got momentum. It seems like things are happening great. And then you wake up 4, 5, 6 months later and you've cooled your life, your business right back down to where it was before. Maybe you'd saved some money at one time and then coincidentally your car broke down or a bill happened or there was a run of birthday parties and all of a sudden that bank account's back to where it always was. It's not coincidental. You've cooled the conditions back down again. And so you've seen this happen. Maybe you got in great shape at one point, but your identity wasn't that fit a person, and you've cooled it back down to about what you're comfortable being. This is true in your faith and your relationships. By the way, you have multiple thermostat settings. You have one in your faith, you have one in your fitness, one in your money, one in your happiness, right? One in your business life. So there's multiple identities we have. The reverse is also true. There's been times in your life where the circumstances, the conditions were terrible. You thought you'd never get out of it. You're never going to eat again. Well, guess what? You ate again, didn't you? And you heated your life back up to that same place again. So you've proven this over and over in your life, haven't you? So have I, so has every single human being. The governor on our life, the regulator of our life is our identity, which is the internal thermostat that sets the temperature for our life. So the key in life is to learn all the thoughts, the skills, the tactics, and the strategies that can heat our life up in the areas that matter most to us. But if we don't simultaneously change the conditions of our thermostat, change what we're comfortable living at, change our identity, our worth, change the thoughts, beliefs, concepts, and value we hold to ourselves, we will cool or heat our life back to that regulated temperature. And so I'm telling you, the overall key to changing the external conditions of your life is changing that internal thermostat setting. So that's what we're going to talk about, some strategies on today. Just being aware that you need to alter the thermostat is a life-changing, liberating condition. I cover this in very specific detail and hashtag Max Out Your Life, my book. It's a quick read, 100 pages. I wrote it so that every page has strategies on it, no fluff. If you want the book, go to maxoutbook.com. If you put in the code MAXOUT, I'll buy the book for you. So I cover this in detail there, but I want to cover it in detail right now with you as well. What you need to be doing is becoming aware of how important it is that you adjust this thermostat setting as you produce better results, as you start to learn new skills and strategies and tactics. See, you can move from an average business into an extraordinary business with incredible opportunity, but you will produce the same results you're getting in the average business if you don't change that thermostat setting up to 95 or 100 or 120 degrees of what you believe you're worth, the thoughts, concepts, and beliefs you hold true to be about yourself. So it is the regulator on our lives, and it's the main thing I work on with my private coaching, with some of the elite performers I work with in business and athletics, in entertainment and politics, is me working with them on changing that internal thermostat where we can heat it higher and higher and higher so that they can produce the results and the conditions of their life, stay and exceed those levels all the time. In fact, in my own life, I'm always working on my self-confidence. I'm working on my tactics and strategies, my ability to influence, right? My thoughts, all of those different things. But the thing I'm most obsessed about that I know is going to get me to the ultimate version of me is constantly elevating the temperature in the areas that matter to me, adjusting the thermostat setting higher and higher and higher and higher so that I can get those conditions to match it, because it always will. You will always get your thermostat setting, always in your life. So can I give you any insights as to how to change that thermostat setting? I can. Let me give you a couple. The most powerful way and the easiest way to change your thermostat setting is by adding people to your circle, very close proximity, that live at a higher temperature in that area than you do. For example, in your faith, let's just say, you're a 75-degreer in your faith. You've already seen this. You can't possibly begin to regularly associate with good, godly people who pray regularly, who try to live righteously, and they're 110, 120 degrees of faith in their life, and not have that proximity heat you up. Now, you won't get to where they are. You'll get to somewhere between where you are at 75 degrees and they are at 110. Over time, you become a 100-degreer. and you alter the thermostat setting through association. Same in business. If you and I were to hang around each other every single day, and let's say you were a 75-degreeer in business, hypothetically, and I don't know that about you, but let's just say you were, and I was a 150-degreeer, and we hung around each other all the time. Don't you think through that association, right, especially if you had 2 or 3 or 4 people like me in your life, that just over time, you don't even feel it. You're at 80, you're at 85, you're at 90, you're at 95, and that's where you are. We understand the power of this with our children, because we know at school, the teachers have influence over them, they're mentors, but the people that really have influence over our children are their friends, because they're around them all the time. And so we know it sets their temperature. This is true in fitness. If you're a 75-degree at fitness, and every meal, every day at the gym, all your associations, hypothetically speaking, were with someone who was shredded and fit the way you wanted to look at 150 degrees, you know over time you get heated up. And so you can't be with someone every day. You can't be with them all the time. But the key is to get more proximity in the areas that matter with people whose thermostat setting is higher than yours. I am a product. You are listening to me right now because I've been so obsessed with this concept of adding new associations to my life that live in the areas that I want to improve in at higher temperatures than me. It's my obsession to this day. I'll give you a secret. One of the reasons I even do my show is I know that I'm influencing many of these guests in the areas that matter most to them through our proximity, and in some cases they do it for me. And so I'm obsessed with the power of association, but I don't just associate. See, all personnel says, yeah, you're the 5 people you hang around. Kinda. You really are the 5 to 10 people you hang around if you're conscious all the time of studying them, of observing them, of asking questions, of the fact that you should be altering your thermostat setting. That's when it really moves. It's not just hanging around. It's consciously and intentionally spending time with people where you allow it to impact you, where you study them, where you really observe them, where you're open to their influence. There has to be a level of trust before you can do that, where you surrender yourself to them. But it's not just being around them. It's intentionally being around people that alters that thermostat setting. So power of association is the main way to do it. Second way to alter your identity is in a short window of time, behave completely differently. In a 30-day window of time in your fitness life, you shock your system into eating or training completely differently than you used to. Or in your business life, you make 100 times more phone calls, 100 more contacts. You do something in a very short window of time that shocks you into believing, my gosh, I could never go back where I was before. You trick your brain into believing you're different. There's this part of our brain that always wants to be consistent with what we're worth. Well, if in a short window of time I begin to behave completely differently, your brain begins to believe you deserve something differently. When you begin to do the things nobody else is willing to do, you begin to believe you deserve the results nobody else deserves to get. This is important also because it changes the water line. It's almost like a water line in the pool. If you raise it, it leaves a new mark. Have you ever seen that before in a lake or a pool? Where you raise the water line in a short window of time and it just changes the mark in your life. It changes the thermostat setting. So you can alter things in your life in short bursts, and I do this often in an area where I really need to change. Like right now, I just started back on a really seriously, deeply committed fitness journey. I want to get back and past where I've ever been in fitness in my life. So I'm going to add some of these new associations. I'm going to train with a new group of people because I've been training alone. I'm going back to training with some people that are fitter than me, men and women that are fitter than me. That's my first combination. That'll alter my thermostat setting, our proximity. And secondly, I'm going psycho the next 30 days. I'm going psycho. I'm altering my nutrition and my diet dramatically, my workouts dramatically, and I'm going to shock my system in the next 30 days into changing the water line, changing the temperature setting. That's the second way you alter identity, alter the thermostat setting, so that you alter the external results. I've said this to you before as well. See, beliefs are so important to guard. Because once you have a belief, your brain goes to work. And I've said this in another audio video where your brain has to go to work to prove your beliefs to be true. Your brain literally goes to work on finding the evidence to prove you right. And so that identity, you're constantly reinforcing it. Let me give you an example of what I mean. If you believe a certain worth about yourself, a certain identity, that impacts the type of action you're willing to take. So if there's a goal you've got set, it doesn't matter what it is, pick a goal. To the extent that you believe it's consistent with your identity is to the extent that you will make an effort towards it. It's a self-fulfilling prophecy, however, because what happens is if your identity is here and the goal is there, you will only make an effort congruent with what you believe you're worth. And so that limited effort you make produces the result not consistent, and it reinforces the belief. It's like a self-fulfilling prophecy. So you set a goal that is inconsistent with an identity you're working on. You will only make an effort consistent with the identity, which will get you to here, doesn't produce the result, and it reinforces this belief you have about yourself. So it's important as you set new goals, as you set new visions, that you also upgrade your identity simultaneously. You're in process of upgrading it because that identity impacts the effort you make, right? Impacts the will you put towards it, and that will is reinforced by the lack of result. And so it becomes this self-fulfilling prophecy. So your mind has this belief it wants to prove to be true, and it starts to find references. So if you believe you're 75 degrees, it's going to start finding legs to put under that table to make it immobile so it can't move to prove you right. And so our identity equals our effort, and the challenge is that effort produces the result. And so this identity has everything to do with the effort you make, which produces the result, which will reinforce the identity or the lack thereof. So it's critical that you upgrade identity with your new visions and goals. The next layer of this is you need to stop what's no longer needed. In other words, there were behaviors and thoughts you've had in the past that were needed to produce the results you currently have. But you need to stop what's no longer needed. Maybe you're continuing a behavior in your life that's no longer needed. Maybe you're continuing a thought or a worry that at one time was needed, but no longer is. Maybe there's a stress or an anxiety or a belief you're holding true to be about yourself that maybe you needed at some point in your life that you no longer need. It could be something to protect yourself from fear, to protect yourself from harm, or to serve you in getting through a certain circumstance. But if we're not conscious of dropping a thought or a behavior that's no longer needed, we take old thoughts, old behaviors that serve an old version of ourselves into trying to become the new version of ourselves. So ask yourself that question. What do I need to drop that's no longer needed? Is it a person? Is it a thought? Is it a behavior? Or is it an emotion? One of those things you probably are carrying with you from the past that maybe you needed to get through a circumstance. Maybe you needed to get through a relationship, through a setback, through a failure, or just to produce the results you currently get. But that thought, that behavior, that emotion, that person is no longer needed for you to go to the next level of your identity, the next level of your performance, the next level of yourself. And then finally is this. If you're stuck in a story. That's where you're stuck. There's a story you're telling yourself that doesn't serve you anymore. And you have to evaluate what that story is. I'm serious. Right now, if you say, Ed, I'm kind of stuck where I am. But what you need to do is you need to alter your associations. You need to do something in a short window of time. No question about it. You definitely need to evaluate what is no longer needed and evaluate the story you're telling yourself. There's all kinds of stories we tell ourselves that don't serve us anymore. This is critical. Maybe it's a story about your past, a story about your parents, a story about a previous relationship, a story about a success you used to have. You keep talking about that doesn't serve you to get to the next level. If I can be real with you, whatever you've achieved up to this point, that story you keep talking about, every second you spend in that old story about what you've achieved, your degree, some business you had, one thing you were real successful at in the past, every time you live in that story, you're stripping time and focus from the new story. What's the new story you're telling yourself? You can't have a new identity without a new story. What's the old story you keep repeating? Maybe it's not a success. Maybe it's a failure that you've had. It was a business setback. It was the market turned. It was the economy. It was someone who did you wrong, a relationship that let you down, a business partner who wasn't consistent, a failure you've had, a poor decision you made, a mistake you made in your life. And you're repeating this story to yourself, simultaneously trying to create a new identity. You can't take that old story into the new identity. One of the things we have to do to create a new identity is to begin to tell a new story. What's your new story? Who are you now? What are you all about now? Where are you going now? What's this new version of you? See, here's what's amazing. At any point in your life, you can just decide to write a new script. You can decide to become a whole new character. See, the leading character in the story of your life is you. And guess what? You and God control the script. You could write a new script at any time you want. Listen to me. At any time you want, you can simply decide to be a new character. I'm strong now. I'm beautiful now. I'm handsome now. I'm bold now. I'm funny now. I'm smart now. I'm going there now. Stop telling the old story. Here's the truth. Nobody cares. No one cares if you had a failure. No one cares if you've had a setback. No one cares if you had a victory. And none of those failures, none of those setbacks, none of those victories, and that old character you keep playing is the very thing that will prevent you from becoming this new version of you. It's a story if you're stuck. It's an old story you're telling with an old character that was last year's version, last decade's version. Who's the new character? What's the new script? What's the new story? I must tell you, I have a lot of weaknesses, a lot of things I do that don't serve me. But this identity thing, I get this. It's the key. Now, there's a lot of little mini things in life that matter. There's never one thing. If you said, what's the key? I can tell you, it's my addiction and my obsession to working on my identity. It's the thought of mine that dominates most of my thinking. That's number one. So I'm conscious of the concept. That's huge. Just being aware of the concept will put you light years ahead of 99.9% of it. Just awareness of the power of identity. Just now you knowing about the thermostat puts you in the 0.1% of all the people on the spinning earth right now. And then the next thing I'm really focused on is always adding people to my life in the areas that matter to me that live at higher temperatures than me. The second thing is I'm constantly doing things in short bursts of time to change the water line. I'm also super obsessed with dropping what's no longer needed. There were certain things I needed to think and do and say, or people I needed to be around, emotions I needed to have that got me to the place I'm currently at. I'm evaluating all the time. What is no longer needed? What emotion? What anxiety? What thought? What belief? What person? What behavior is no longer needed in my life? And then lastly, I never tell the old story. I don't like telling the old story. I'm constantly trying to write the new script, become the new character in my life. And it could just be the new emotions. It could be the new beliefs I have. It could be the new story, the new place I'm moving. But I'm constantly retelling a new story all the time. I'm constantly obsessed with writing the next chapter of my life, not reading the previous ones. The happiest and most fulfilled people don't read the past chapters of their life, whether they're good or bad. They are writing new ones all the time. These are the keys of changing the internal thermostat of our lives, and ultimately are the keys of changing the external circumstances of our lives. I know today helped you. And so all I ask from you is that you share this. I want more of the people in the world that need to hear this message to hear it. All of my information is free. I teach specific tactical strategies that I hope are inspirational. And based on the growth of the show, the world is finding out about it. It's the #1 downloaded audio in the world when you combine video and audio downloads. And so I just ask you to share this with people. If you're subscribed and you're listening to the audio version right now on iTunes or Spotify, make sure you go over to YouTube and subscribe to the YouTube channel so you get the video version, because I'm going to put content on each platform that's different going forward. If you're watching this on YouTube, go subscribe to one of the audio platforms and share it with somebody. Every day on Instagram, we run the Max Out 2-minute drill in an effort to engage closer with you. I read all your comments. I reply to most of them. First off, make sure you follow me on Instagram, turn your notifications on, because in the first 2 minutes, if you make a comment on my main post with #MaxOut in the first 2 minutes, we take all the people that do that. Every single day, we pick a winner. Some of them read autographed copies of my book, a coaching call with me, coaching call with some of the guests on my show, Max Out gear, anything we can do to connect with you deeper, we do. We pick a winner every single day that comment in the first 2 minutes. And if you miss the first 2 minutes because for whatever reason life happens, as long as you make a comment on every post I make in a week, I usually make 4, 5, 6 posts. As long as you just comment every day at any time, at the end of the week, we add up people, all the people who commented every day, we pick a winner from there as well that I can get engaged with. So I want to challenge you to engage with me on social media more deeply as well. I hope the program is helping you, and I'm just here to help you max out your life and become the best version of yourself, become happier, more fulfilled, and more productive. God bless you.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh, you guys, I had to get on the chat on my phone because I was having so much FOMO. I could see the chat blowing up, but I couldn't read them. And so when I finally got in there, everybody was like, whoa, this is amazing. I'm crying. This is exactly what I needed. So it just I'm so glad that this video spoke to you and you loved it so much. And you know, you cannot, if you are new to leadership around here, we just don't get away with not having tears when we have big moments. So I'm just super, super pumped that you loved it. And so that was my third time listening to it in the matter of a last few days. And I actually took a few more notes. So now we're going to get interactive. And so like, who's ready to shock your system, right? Because Sarah's like, I'm going psycho. I think it's so funny that he's like, I'm going psycho. And so who's ready to shock your system, you guys? Because you can do anything for 30 days, right? And then it becomes easier because your body's like, I don't even remember any different. And so I just like want to put this out there. Who can admit that over the summer, your AC was turned on a little bit and our temperature wasn't up very high. Is that right? Okay. So like, that's what I was thinking about. I was like, dang, our AC must have really been blasting this summer. It was getting cold over here. So I loved in the corner of the video, I just noticed it tonight because, like I said, the first time I listened to it, I was just listening and cutting vegetables. Like I wasn't even looking at him at all. So this afternoon, I finally got to watch it again while there was the words across the screen. But tonight, I noticed that at the end of the video, the thermostat was up there and it had flames around it. And I'm ready to do that, right? So who's ready to turn up the heat in the house a little bit? You guys ready to turn up the heat? Like, let's turn the heat on, but like, let's turn it up, okay? So, and I love what Annalicia said in the chat during the call, like, let's take it from the trees. You can be like a tree and let go of all the leaves and all the things that you don't need and no longer serve you. And so, you guys, like, this video, there's so many concepts that we already know, but I just love the way that he puts it. And so we're going to talk about turning up the temperature. So we're going to take some of the things that he talked about and get a little interactive. And so I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 or 7 things that we're going to do right now. So the first thing we're going to do, so get your notebook out. I just seriously, yes, his voice does. It just makes you pay attention. And I just think he's so like fresh and he's so straightforward and easy to understand. And so ready to make it hot in her. So I'm going to ask you his first question, and you can number them so we can go back and like talk about it if you want. But the first question that we have, and you're going to answer on your piece of paper, and you guys, this is one of the things. If you want to share like some kind of aha moment or something in your answers in the chat, you totally can. Where could we turn up the heat? Now, put this on you. So when you're writing on paper, this is about you. Where could we turn up the heat in our life in the areas that matter most to us? So I want you to write down what areas of your life matter the most to you where you think you could turn the heat up a little bit or a lot. Now I'm going to do this with you guys. And it was so funny because, you know, when he talked about being stuck, it reminded me of that story of Cami Pentecost back when she was in the field. And she wanted to go full-time with his business and stay at home with her 3 babies. She was a teacher, and she was making $3,000 a month, but couldn't get past the $3,000 a month. Why? Because as a teacher, she made $3,000 a month. So she hadn't gotten it in her head yet that she could do more than $3,000. So when she started doing this business full-time, she got stuck at $3,000 because that was all that she ever believed that she could make. And so you guys, when she got over that, it went to 60. And when she got over that, it went to 100. So it's all about what you think in your mind that you can achieve. So we're answering, where could you turn up the heat in the areas of your life that matter most to you? Maddie's going vegan, physical health. I love it, Maddie. Maddie was already a vegetarian and just is going to take it to the next level and go vegan. I love it. Friendship, business, food, physical body, faith, personal development, marriage. I like that. For me, I put my relationship, more effort in my business, and to save money. I mean, there's a lot of things that you can improve in, but I want you to think, what is the most important to you? Like, could we all up our game cleaning our house? Sure. But is that the most important to you? If it is, great. If it's not, that's not what we're going to focus on. We're focusing on building our checks, not having the cleanest house, right? Health, business tasks, team connection, leadership, learning to stop limiting your growth. I love it. Breaking glass ceilings before you have your baby. I love it. Okay, so we're going to go to the next question. So that one can be, you know, rather vague. I love that you guys are sharing these. Taking more chances. Sharon, I love that. Okay, the second question, hopefully everybody's finished with that one and you guys can go back to it. And if you want, I can type up these questions for you later. Self-esteem, self-confidence. I love it. All right, question number 2. Now this one is a little more specific. This one may be like the longest one that we do. So this is new, okay? What do you want your identity to be? And I guess going along with that, like I put in here, describe who you are as in who you want to become. So this is kind of like an affirmation, but, and Sarah and I talked about this the other day, instead of just making it an affirmation, you're making it a declaration. You are making it an intention. This is going to be your new identity. So you're not just going to be like, I want to be a millionaire overnight. That's great. But what is your like identity of you as a person? Characteristics or different areas of your life. Like, what is your identity going to be? What do you want it to be? Because we get to choose who we are. So that's going to be the next one. So you guys can take a minute for that. Yes, declaration. Okay, get specific on this, guys. Your identity. Who are you? Characteristics. Confident, disciplined. Both of those come to mind right away. Strong woman who others look up to. I really like that. Radiant, positive, free-spirited woman. I love that, Maddie. Who can help others in multiple ways. Completely free, confident. I'll give you some of mine. And I feel like I could, like, I don't know about you guys, but I feel like on this one, I could literally just write for days. But some of the first things that came to my mind is I'm loyal, I'm a true leader and a caregiver, I'm a finisher, someone who makes the first move, someone who gets out of bed in the morning with purpose. That's all that I wrote so far. Aligned, generous, inspiring. I love it. Now, when you guys say successful, get specific. What does that mean? You declare, Amber. I love it. Capable. I love some of these words. Strong, holy, and life-speaking. More than a conqueror. This is deep, you guys. This is really good. So try to get as specific as possible. Like I said, I want to be somebody who makes the first move. Because in my past, I was one that hesitated or procrastinated. And so I've really been working hard on that. A finisher, a go-getter, a teacher, influencer, a voice, financial success, doer, traveler. Sharon, this is so good. I'll give you guys another minute for this one. I feel like this question, when I look at this question on paper, I'm like, it's one of those things like, how do people remember you? Like at your funeral, how do you want people to remember you? What's your identity? Intentional. I'm going to put striving for the next level. No more saying I love you, but. Ooh. These are so good, you guys. Okay, does everybody need another minute? I love you guys for sharing these. A lot of you are saying fearless success. Just make sure you know, like, what does success exactly mean for you? Everybody's different. Helper, like that. Finisher. These are just such strong words, you guys. Uplifting, wise, brave. Love it. So you can continue to work on this question, yourself, like what are the characteristics? And it's just kind of one of those things, like remember how in the past we wrote down all the different characteristics that we want in a potential new distributor? It's kind of like the same thing. Well, we have to become those things ourselves. So it's kind of one of those things we're not necessarily we're looking for in somebody else, but what you're looking for in yourself. And so I really like that. So we're going to go to question number 3. And again, I'll type these out for you guys if you want. Who are new people that you want in your circle to bring your average temperature up? And so this is a concept that like I didn't really understand for a while. And after, talking to some different leaders and specifically I asked this question to Cammie a couple months ago, Cammie, I want to raise my inner circle, but how? Like, let's say I want to be friends with one of the ambassadors. How do I just like be like, hey, do you want to be friends? And it's one of those things where if you want, for example, Ed Mylett to be in your inner circle, then just decide that he's in your inner circle. So that means that you're going to listen to his videos and podcasts. And like he said, you're going to listen intentionally. When you're listening to him and you're with him, you're going to be intentionally present in that conversation or that video and that podcast where you're really getting something from that. Same thing with like if you want Pam to be in your inner circle, then if it were me, I'd be like, I'm going to go back and listen to every single one of her podcasts every day and make sure I, interact on every single one thing that she posts. And I really know her and she's one of my 5, it doesn't have to just be 5, but I guess inner circle. So who are the new people that you want in your circle? It could be somebody on this call right now. It could be, yes, who do you want to influence you? So it could be somebody on this call. It could be another leader in our company or somebody from corporate. It could be Rachel Hollis. I don't know about you guys, but I definitely want Rachel in the circle, right? Like, and so that means like I'm going to read her books. I'm going to listen to her podcast. I'm going to follow her on Instagram. She's going to be in my circle, which I already feel that way, So this is a fun exercise because you get to decide. I didn't know anything about it, Casey, so we'll have to talk about that. You'll have to message me some details because I would love to go if I'm able. And I love what he said, like these people are going to raise your temperature. So you're not going to, like he said, if you're at 75 and they're at 100, you may not be at 100, but it's going to get that average. So maybe you'd be like 80, 85, 90. And over time, you might get to 100. So who are some new people that you want in your circle? I'm going to write a few down. Rachel's, I hope she comes to the wedding. I mean, I feel like with the kind of person she is, if she gets that invite, she might find a way to make it happen. You guys, Rachel Hollis is doing her first business event in Charleston the weekend of Jess's wedding. I'm just saying. Just saying. Okay, you guys can continue to think about this one. So our number 4 question. How can you behave completely differently in the next 30 days to shock your system? And so if you remember when he was saying a couple of different things, he was talking about business, fitness, family, spiritual, faith, happiness, any of these things. This kind of relates back to, you guys, the identity of who you want to be. So if you were one of those people in the chat that said you are going to take your health seriously and you're going to be a healthy person, then to shock your system, maybe health is one of those main categories. And how can you behave differently? Maybe it's, okay, I'll just take myself for example. I'm not supposed to have wheat. So when I first started seeing my nutritionist and he told me no wheat, apologize for the fireworks going off outside. But when he told me no wheat, it was like, I'm done. And now it's like a no-brainer for me. Now it's like when I have it, it's almost, it's taboo. I'm like, I'm not supposed to have this because I literally just shocked my system and I was like, nope, I'm done. I'm done with that. And I felt so much better. So maybe you're somebody that knows you shouldn't have a certain category of food. And you dip into it anyways. Maybe you're like, nope, I'm done. Or that's just a random example. But maybe you're ready to take your business up a notch, which is what we're all doing, right? Maybe you have a completely different schedule and routine and checklist to literally shock your system and do something completely different. Just some examples. Get up early and go to the gym, go live daily. Somebody asked me today, how do you get good at going live? How do you get over that fear? How do you just do it? And I'm like, you just literally do it every day, again and again and again and again and again. You just get more and more comfortable with it. Commit to your workout, stick to your meal plan. No more hanging out with the guys and having a beer. That's a good one. No more animal products. Racing to Ruby. Wake up before baby. I know, I mean, I don't have kids, but I know a lot of you that do have kids. Getting up before them changes the whole day, right? And I know some of the ladies on my team that get in that routine, waking up before the kids, you get so much stuff done and you feel like you're a freaking superwoman. And then something happens and you stop waking up before them. And then life just goes to crap because you're being woken up by your kids and everything's chaotic from the second you open your eyes. And then you realize, hey, that waking up early thing wasn't so bad. Okay, question number 5. What are your beliefs about yourself that go hand in hand with your upgraded identity? So remember, the the second question, we upgraded our identity. So what are some beliefs about yourself that go hand in hand with your new identity? So I will give you guys something that I wrote down. So just kind of to preface this, when I first started and Sarah was going ambassador, we had some really big contests and stuff. And you guys, I would freaking win every contest. I was like, oh, cool, sweet, done, check, done. Oh, winning that. Okay, doing that. And there came a point in my business where I don't know what happened, but it was almost like when a new contest came out, whether it was for the team or for corporate, I would be like, there's no way. There's no way I can't win. There's so many other people better than me. There's so many other people faster than me that are going to do it before me. And I started to have this major doubt in myself. And so I believe with this contest, this corporate contest that we're going to talk about at the end, something literally, you guys, came over me. And it was just back, it was like we were back to, if you were around for when they did the cruises, I was like, going to that, going on that trip. Okay. And even the other, it was honestly just a shift. Like even the other day, Sarah's like, how many double faster at distributors are you going to sign? I'm like, I don't know. I don't really want to put a number out there. But then this trip came out and I'm like, this is how many points I want. And so for myself, I put something down, what is a belief about myself that goes hand in hand with my upgraded identity. I will earn this trip. I actually started to write I can, and then I crossed out can and I put I will earn this trip. I'm the top enroller. I'm the winner. I always win. Those are my beliefs about myself that go hand in hand with my upgraded identity. Truth, Chelsea. Whenever this topic comes up, Sarah and I always talk about this. If they're gonna unfollow you or unfriend you, it wasn't meant to be anyways. They weren't gonna buy anything from you anyways. They weren't gonna join you anyways. You know, it's the people that sit on the sidelines that don't ever like and comment on anything, and they're watching and you don't even know it. Those are the people that are meant to see it, right? I'm going on this trip. I will earn this trip. Yes. If they're not clapping, they're booing. Drop it like it's hot. Yes. You guys, it's for real. Like that whole thing with, you know, if people don't clap for you, you need to find a new circle. Like that's for real. All right. So your beliefs about yourself that go hand in hand with your upgraded identity. That's number 5. We're going to go to number 6. What are behaviors and thoughts that you had that's no longer needed? So remember, we're going to drop what's no longer needed. So maybe you need to drop a person, a thought, a behavior, or an emotion. What do you need to drop that's no longer needed? So maybe to get to the last rank that you promoted to, there was a certain person, thought, behavior, or emotion that you needed. And now they got to go. So you're writing down what is no longer needed. That's deep, Jess Thomas. A person feels like they died or something. Procrastination and self-doubt and sabotage. Thoughts that you're a failure in life. So this was something that I was going to talk about at the end, but I guess is good to bring up now. So you guys, remember, we're gonna write this down. We're gonna share it if you want, and then we're gonna drop it. So we're not gonna dwell too much on these things, okay? But something that Sarah and I talked about just a couple of days ago, burn that shit. We're burning it. We're burning it. Literally, you guys could like maybe you write that part on, maybe you write number 6 on like a sticky note and just like go burn it outside afterwards. Maybe just cross it out on your paper so it's not even there anymore. We're just going to totally drop it after tonight, okay? But something for me, I told Sarah, I said every day, and this is just me being vulnerable and sharing some things with you guys. Every day I wake up and the first, like in my room, you guys, from here to my bathroom right there, to when I sit on the toilet and go pee the first thing in the morning before my eyes are even open, my first thought is always, I'm not an ambassador yet. I'm realizing I'm awake. I'm realizing what day it is. I'm not an ambassador. Every day. It was like, didn't matter what day it was, didn't matter what was going on. It was like, that was the first thought that came into my head. And I was like, after a while, it just literally took over me. That's what led into, you probably won't win, you're probably not good enough, there's somebody faster, and you don't even realize that's the first thought that went in your head in the morning, and it ran your whole freaking life. So for me, and maybe some of you guys can use this. For me, she said, there was a video by Abraham Hicks. If you guys listen to her, she's amazing. And she said, and Sarah was talking about this, the first 17 seconds of your day, like before your eyes are even open, that first thought should be, what are you grateful for? What are you grateful for? And it can be anything. And it's so funny because Sarah was like, sometimes it's like how amazing my sheets are. And the other day I was like, okay, I was conscious. I realized that I was awake. Okay, I'm grateful for Carter. I'm grateful for Alec. I'm grateful for this fan that feels so good to me. I'm grateful for my bed. It feels so amazing. There's so many pillows around me. And like I just started to feel grateful. And when I went to the bathroom, I wasn't like, oh man, I'm not an ambassador. I just kind of like felt like that was such a dumb thought after that, because I had started with what I was grateful for. And, we did a leadership call the other day with Carrie Young, and she was talking about, just what can you do to make business go on the upswing? She said, oh, I know that I know that we need to build rubies, and I know I can do that. And so that just kind of stuck with me. So instead of being like, oh man, I'm not ambassador, I was like, you know what? We're going to build rubies, and I can do that. I can build a ruby. I can do that. I'm grateful for this bed. I'm grateful for these two. I can build a ruby. I can do that. And it started to change my morning thoughts. And so Sarah just dropped the morning rampage video. And so I highly recommend copying that, pasting it, and listening to it the first thing in the morning. Okay, so we wrote down our behaviors and thoughts that you had that no longer are needed, so that you're going to drop. That was number 6. Okay, so this is the last one. This is number 7. So this isn't necessarily a question. I'm going to plug my computer in so we don't lose each other. But this isn't necessarily a question. It's kind of like, I don't know. I feel like it's more of a statement. So remember he was talking about your story. What's like the story that you've been telling yourself? Now, maybe you're in a really good place and you've got a good story going on. That's cool. So let's evaluate your story. Change it. Who are you now? This goes along with all of these questions. It's the new identity. It's the new beliefs. They all go hand in hand. Who are you now? Who's the new version? So what was your story that was holding you back? Was it a mistake? Was it a failure? Was it a setback? Or was it a success? So let's evaluate it. And this is number 7. We're we're evaluating your story. So remember what he was saying about what your story, like whatever your story is that you've been telling yourself or you're constantly telling yourself, that's what your thermostat is going to go to. Okay? So if you're like, I'm lazy, then your thermostat, doesn't matter how motivated you feel one day, your thermostat is going to bring you back to I'm lazy or whatever it is for you. So we're going to evaluate your story and change it. Who are you now? The new version. So as we were watching, and as you guys are writing this, I'll just, again, open myself up to my situation. When I was listening to the video for the 3rd time, just now with you guys, I asked myself, like, what are my old stories? What are because whether it was a success or a failure, either way, it was holding me back. So like, what were my stories? And I realized that my old stories, part of it was, I'm a presidential diamond. I made all this money. I had so much success. I got to do so much for other people. And over time, I realized that not that it came easily, but it just was like magic. Right? And so then over time, it was, my story was like my business failure, like the dip in my business. And I was living in that. And I was like, well, haven't, qualified for any of this other stuff. Probably won't qualify for this, and we get down on ourselves, right? And so I realized that I was just living in that. And I'm just like, bye, girl, bye. Like that does not serve me. And so I think my favorite part about all of these questions, my favorite exercise was the beliefs. Because when you say those, that is like a truth. That is a truth in yourself. So for me, when I wrote, I will earn this trip, I am the top enroller and the winner. I always win. I was like, yeah, I felt that. Like, yeah, I always win. And it was just like, oh, well, there I am. I don't know where I've been for the past few years, but there I am. And I hope that you guys can do that too and really feel those beliefs. Ooh, I'm a producer. I like that. I used to be a top performer at X company, and I've been saying I used to be, and I basically saying I'm a has-been. I am a top producer. I love that, Rona. New story. I am a hardworking, capable woman who will give my kids a savings account. Ooh, I like that. Okay, so I just love that at any given point, we can change our story. At any freaking given point. So all of the beliefs and the crap that doesn't serve you, literally, you guys write it on a sticky note and go outside and burn it tonight. You can flush it down the toilet, but I prefer to actually see it burn because we don't need it. The AC was on all summer. It got a little cold up in here, and it's time to turn up the heat, right? Yeah. Paycheck is comfortable. We don't want to be comfortable. Does anybody want to be just comfortable? Does anybody want to just be like, okay? Because I don't want to just be okay. So the first 17 seconds of the day thing was just like a really big game changer for me. And you guys, I'm just super excited because we opened up this call tonight. It was diamonds and above, plus people on our team that we really felt needed to hear this. So you might be a distributor in this call. You might be an executive, you might be a Ruby, you might be an Emerald. At one point, there were 78 people on this call. That means that, like, this group is the future leadership of our team. And I'm talking like near future, like in the next 30, 60, and 90 days. Today, I had our team claim their 30-day goal and their 90-day goal. And I believe that the women that were invited to this call tonight that aren't yet diamond will be within the next 90 days. And I get it. Amen, ladies. So I just want to talk really quick about the contest that corporate has going on, the incentive, all expense paid, free trip, resort takeover. How many of you are coming with us? Because when that came out, I was like, done, and done. Check, check, and check. And I took my goals for the month and I cross-referenced them with how many points I want to have. So for me specifically, I want you to tell me how many points you are claiming this month. It might be extended into, October, but I want to know how many points you're claiming this month. So I took my goals of what I wanted to achieve this month. I said, I know I want to complete my steps twice. I know I want to help a brand new person that has not yet joined Go Ruby. I know I want to rank up and all this stuff. And I'm like, man, 5,600. You can do that. Now, is that a push? Is that a stretch? Is that a holy shit, I'm going to have to bust my ass every day? Yeah. But we can do it. 2,500, 3,000, 6,000, whatever it takes. I like how Nikki was like, but whatever it takes. Love that. 6,400, 2,750. That's a very specific goal. We've got to claim it, you guys. 6,100. We've got to claim it, because if you're just like, I just want to get however many points that I can get, it's not going to happen. You have to be dead set on this trip that you are invited. You are one of the winners. This is yours. 5,000, 4,000, 3,000. I love it so much. 4,500. And so something that I just kind of, and I know that we lost, did we lose Sarah? She might have lost power, because I know she had something to add to the end, so I'll keep going. But something that we were talking about in leadership last week was really needing to start sharing information about these products with the team. Because if you've been in for a couple of years, raise your hand if you think like explaining the products now, I mean, it's not like what I feel like for me, it's not what it used to be. I used to be able to rattle off products like the back of my hand in my sleep. And now I kind of have to like grab the product label, and I kind of have to pull up the e-suite so I can know what I'm talking about. And it's exciting. It's a little intimidating for somebody who's been in for 6 years, right? It's a little intimidating, but I'm ready for it. I'm here for it. So I think that we need to do some more product training, you guys, because from what I watched last on Connect, there is a little bit of, there's product videos, but they're kind of vague and they don't go over all the products. So yeah, just talking to a potential, I had to go over the bullets. You guys, I've been making a lot of videos about all of our different beverages, like on my stories and stuff. And I'm not going to lie, I'm like, did that even sound okay? But I know that I just have to push myself past the part of being uncomfortable, because I was a little uncomfortable at first. I was like, am I saying this right? Is this really what this product does? But I know I just have to keep saying it over and over and over, and we have to keep talking about it. So not this past weekend, but the weekend before, I did a product training in the crew. It was an hour long. Totally didn't mean for it to be that long, but everybody knows that I can't talk for less than an hour. And I did about 10 products. I did like our most popular products, the products that we should be talking about in this season. And I'm wondering if any of you would like to step up. And, there's a lot of things that go on during the week. And so you guys might feel differently. And this is just the way that I have it on my schedule. So if it doesn't work for you, you don't have to volunteer for anything. But I feel like we have so much going on during the week with other calls and Zooms. So I think Saturday mornings are always open. There's never any Zooms or anything on Saturday mornings. And so I would really like to make it a new tradition Saturday mornings to get some product training going and to hear from different leaders and different people in this crew, and not just from the same person. And so we can all learn these new products together. So if any of you would like to volunteer to go live in the crew this Saturday, the next Saturday after that, the Saturday after that, whenever, I would love if you would reach out to me and just let me know what day you want to do, or even just put it in here right now. I'm going to see if Sarah, oh, she did message me. And you can pick one product, you can pick a couple of products. Okay. Sarah's not feeling too hot, but that's okay. All right, so yes, please send me a personal message. I would love to get some different views on all these different products. And so, you know, you guys, if you're on the Dream Team, I was talking about today, there are what, 13 different beverages now that you can sample at a party. Let's get some sample parties going for us and our teams, because there are literally 13 different beverages that we can sample at a party. I mean, there's 4 different types of keto coffee, right? There's keto coffee by itself. There's the mocha, the pumpkin, and the salted caramel. I mean, that right there, who doesn't want to go to a coffee sampling party, let alone, you know, you can say you're a rep for a premium health and wellness beverage company, or health, wellness, and beauty beverage company, however you want to word it. But I just would really like to start talking about these things, and especially things that we need to be talking about in this season. Like cleanse is always huge, TFX and fat fighter are always huge, but you guys, all of these drinks that build our immune system, if you guys can't tell, I have a little cold myself. Immunity, the greens, the reds, the collagen, things that really help us out this time of year. Probiotics, we need to hear it over and over and over again. And while we may know about the products, our brand new distributors do not, and we need to constantly talk about it. And I think that was that had a lot to do with our success in this team back in, I want to say like 2016, is we were just talking about products constantly, what they do, why they do it, really digging deep into ingredients and what they do. Like, let's dig deep. Before I went on that live, I did research. I had different websites of what's a polyphenol and just different things. And I really had to educate myself, and I want to do that together. And so I would love to see some of you go live and talk about a handful of products that you're passionate about, or you've done a little bit of research on, so we can really just start knowing our stuff like the back of our hand again with all of these new things that are coming out. So, all right. So I don't know if anybody else has anything to add, but I don't know, that Ed Mylett video was just everything. Like, when I listened to it, I was like, wow, we really need to turn up our temperatures, right? I think that we had the AC on over the summer, and I'm just ready. And it went hand in hand with a call last night. I mean, what Pam posted in the Lifers page, all she said, it was like afternoon, and she said, get ready. We were like, what? They never post about the corporate call in the Lifers page. If you don't know what I'm talking about, it's the top leader page, triple and above. And she just said, get ready. And I was like, oh shit, like what's going to go down tonight? Like what is going down? And when they said pumpkin spice, I mean, I don't know about you guys, but I was like out for the first 10 minutes of the call. I was trying to message my girls. I was trying to get my order in. I was trying to put a story up. I was like, oh, holy shit, we have pumpkin spice. And so I know everybody was freaking out about that. And this trip is huge, you guys. I know you can get there. It's just a matter of a decision. If you think that you can't get there, you will not be there. But if you think that you can, you will be there. You will make the decision. You will bring in the points. You will make it happen. I promise you. I was on both of the cruises. Drop in the chat if you were on either one of the cruises, you guys. Because it was literally just a matter of a decision. And I remember, Jess, I hope you don't mind me sharing this story. One of the cruises, I think it was the second one, Jess was like, I'm getting on that cruise. I'm getting on that cruise. I'm getting on that cruise. And we came out with the points, and it was like barely cut off. And she didn't make it. But she was like, I'm getting on that cruise. And I'm like, okay. Okay. And something happened where people's spouses didn't go, or certain people decided that they weren't going to make the trip. And so they opened it up for the next point earners. And you guys, she was the next point earner. She was the next point earner. She already knew she was going on the cruise. She already knew it. She didn't even stop working for a second. And she got on that cruise, you guys. She went on that cruise because she decided, I went to Tony Robbins instead. Was that it? Like, did you end up going?
Yeah, well, I know. So it was obviously that first one that we hung out at, and then the second one was when I got on. So I technically got invited to both of them, but the second one is the one that Tony Robbins, his event started 2 days after. So like I didn't have any time to go to do both of them, and at that point, Tony Robbins was really important for me to go to. So I didn't go on the second one, which I heard the second one was way better than the first one, so it kind of sucked.
But that was the one that you were like, I'm going on that cruise, and then it popped up like you were going.
Yeah, it was the first one. It was that first one.
Okay. You guys, it was just a decision. That was it. Like not even for even for one single second was she like, oh, like maybe I won't make it. She was like, I'm freaking going on the cruise. Like I'm going. Period. Like it's happening. So it's just about making the decision. I hope you guys liked all the questions that we had tonight from the video. If you want, I can type these up. If you need, like somebody just holler at me if you need me to type them up, because it's like a full page of notes. So if you guys got it down, I won't. But if you want me to, I will. And so I just appreciate all of you guys for being on. I'm super excited for all of the ladies that got a special invite. And just know that if you got a special invite, is because we really, really felt like everything here was something that you needed to hear. And we want you here for our weekly leadership calls. We want you on our leadership team. It's because we believe in you. We know you are diamond, and we know you are above that. You are at least diamond, right? In the next 90 days. So just appreciate you all. You are welcome. I heard this video the other day and I was like, we got to do this. We got to do this activity together. I think it's going to be really good. And you guys just run like hell. Just turn your temperature up. Just decide that you're going to turn your temperature up, because once your temperature is up, anything else that happens, your thermostat is going to bring you back up. Okay? Like if something negative or bad or just life in general happens, even if there's a day where you don't feel like doing much, but you've already set your thermostat up here, anything else that happens, like he said, your thermostat is going to regulate it so everything comes right back up to where your thermostat is set. So I know we said we're about to make the room on fire. So I won't ramble anymore. I appreciate you guys so much. Happy Labor Day. Let's go out and kill it. It's September 1st. We've got the whole month. What are your 30-day goals? What are your 90-day goals? And let's just take our teams and run. And my first, I'll tell you guys, my first thing on my agenda is taking all the people that I ever talked to that I know will be amazing, or people that have reached out to me recently that said like, hey, I'm interested in hearing more about what you do, but maybe they haven't gotten back to me, and say, look, I'm looking for only 6 women that are ready to make between $500 and $1,000 a month immediately before Christmas. Are you interested? And I'm just being straight up, because I'm going to build a Ruby. And then under there, I'm going to build another Ruby. And I have a plan and I know what I'm going to do. And so I'm just going to reach out and be very matter of fact and offer it and get those distributors in place so we can sign customers like crazy. So, all right, everyone. Well, Katie Bird, we are so happy that you were here with us. And we know it definitely takes some investment into your business to be here for things like this. So I will see you all soon, and good luck on your trip contest. Bye, you guys.